So now we're going to move on to example H. This one is going to take a little bit more work, so I'm going to be doing it on a whiteboard. So we're going to go through this problem step by step. So our problem is half 2x plus 3/4, close parentheses, minus 1/3, 1/10, plus x, close parentheses, equals 1. So before we can do anything, the first thing we have to do is focus on our fractions outside of the parentheses. So we're going to do the least common multiple of each side. So we've got 2 and 3. So 2, 4, 6, 3, 6. That makes our lives really easy. We're going to multiply just these fractions by 6. So we're going to do 6 by half, 6 by 1/3, and then 6 by 1. Because remember, what you do to one side, you do have to do to the other. So this is going to make our equation now 2x plus 3/4 minus 2, parentheses, 1/10, plus x equals 6. Now, what we're going to be looking for is we're going to distribute. So we've got our 3 here and our 2 here that we're going to distribute across. This is going to make it 6x plus 9/4 minus 1/5 minus 2x equals 6. So again, we have more fractions still. So again, we're going to have to find the least common multiple so we can get rid of those fractions. So over here, we're going to have our 4 and our 5. So we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 5, 10, 15, 20. Makes our lives easy, really quick. So we're going to multiply 20 by both sides of the equation. So we're going to have 20 times 6x, which is going to give us 120x. 20 times 9/4, which is going to give us 45. 20 times negative 1/5, which will give us negative 4. And then 20 times negative 2x, which will give us negative 40x. And then 20 times 6, which will give us 120. Okay, from here, this is where we're going to start combining like terms and like integers on both sides, okay? So on this left side, we have an x over here and an x over here. If we combine those, we're going to have 120x minus 40x. That's going to give us 80x on this side. We also have 45 and negative 4, which are also like terms. So with that, we'll have 45 minus 4, which will give us positive 41. And then we just have our 120 on the far side. So now we're going to isolate our variable. To do that, we need this 41 over here with the 120. So opposite of addition is subtraction. So what we do to one side, we're going to do to the other. Negative 41 on both sides. Remember, that's going to cancel here. And we're going to get 80x equals 79. So now last thing we're going to do is solve for x. So we have 80x equals 79. Currently, our 80x is 80 multiplied by x. Opposite of multiplication is division, which means we're going to divide by 80. What you do to one side, you're going to do to the other. So our 80s cancel here, and we're left with x, which is what we wanted to isolate x. And then you'll end up with 79 over 80 as our answer. If you plug it into the calculator, you will get it checked, and that will be how you correct that answer. Okay, so we're on our last two for the notes for our examples. So we have example I. So on this one, again, we're going to start with, do we need to distribute? Which we do. We have our 2 that we need to distribute to both sides. So this side's going to stay the same with 4x minus 8. We're going to distribute the 2, which is going to make it 4x plus 6. Now we have to combine like terms. There's nothing to combine on this side. So we're going to isolate the variable. So on this one, we have 4x and 4x. Either side you decide to move it to, you're going to do negative, because that's the only way you can do it, and you have to do it to both sides. When you do that, what do we notice? Both sides cancel out. So that leaves us with negative 8 equals 6, which means that these sides don't equal. This is not a true statement, which means your answer is going to be no solution. Or NS. No solution or NS. So this is an example right now where you're not going to get an answer. And our last problem is going to be example J. So again, starting from the beginning, we're going to distribute. So we have our 9 that we need to distribute on this side. So we're going to have 9 times 2x, which is going to be 18x. Then 9 times negative 3, which is going to give you negative 27. On this side, you have negative 27 plus 18x. If you look at this problem, it looks really similar, doesn't it? If we were to rearrange this right side, we have our 18x minus 27x. If we were to slightly arrange it to make it look the same as the left side, we would have 18x minus 27. So if we were to work this entire thing out, let's start with our variables. We're going to subtract 18x from this side, subtract 18x from this side. Those both cancel. That leaves us with 27 equals negative 27. So if we did that, plus 27 on both sides, those would cancel. We'd end up with 0 equals 0. This is a true statement, which means that we have infinitely many solutions. That will be your answer on that one, because that means multiple solutions can go into this equation.